We are looking at the Kubuntu 23.10, which is Mantic Minotaur. So this is a beta version of Kubuntu. I already made the Ubuntu 23.10 and the Edubuntu, which is an educational Ubuntu. So which is from the yesterday's videos. If you want to check that out, you can check that out in my previous videos. So this is a boot menu of Kubuntu. You already know, no need to mention that. So let's quickly boot it in a live boot. So here is the Kubuntu 23.10, which is a welcome screen, as you can see on the screen. So I'm running it on a virtual machine, which is a VMware. So let's quickly try Kubuntu. Before installing, we need to try because it's a live boot and it's a beta version. So it's always a good option to always try to live boot, because if you have any bugs, you can easily delete the ISO file. So it's always a good option to wait until the stable ISO file is released. So if you want to test it, you can test it on the VMware or VirtualBox, anything. You can even live boot on your current operating system. So if you have any bugs, you can report that. So it's a good option to wait until the stable ISO file if you are a normal user. If you are a tester, you can test it on your PC. So here is our desktop layout of a Kubuntu 23.10. So let's first change the display resolution. Let's go to configure display settings. In Ubuntu 23.10, there was some bugs which crashed the desktop. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out in my previous video. So let's change the display resolution first. Let's click on apply. Let's keep it. Let me first show you the system information which is about the system. Here is the KDE Plasma version, which is 5.27.8, which is almost a latest version. I think this is the latest version. I don't know what point is running right now. I think this is the latest, so let's go with it. KDE framework version is 5.110 and Qt version is 5.15.10 and the kernel version is 6.5, which is in every Ubuntu flavors. This is the same version which will be available in all the Ubuntu flavors right now in the beta version. So here is my CPU or the PC configuration or the information. I have the 12th gen i5 with 4 GB of RAM. I choose the 4 GB of RAM for my VMware. So this is the information, and here you can see it says as a VMware. So let's close this thing and open the system monitor and see how much of resources it is consuming. Here is the information. Let's maximize this thing. It's 1.2 GB of 4 GB of RAM, and the CPU is going around below 15%, which is pretty good. So this is all the information. So let's go to the applications. These are all the applications running right now. Let's go to the history. As you can see, there is a graph going on the top side, which is a CPU. Here is the memory and here is the network. So the graph is almost stable. As you can see, there is no high peak and low peak. This is a basic and the common thing in the beginning of the when you open the system monitor. This will be the common thing. You will see a high graph here. So you need to run it like almost like a 1 minute or a 60 seconds, and you should be having a stable graph here. If it's going stable, then it's a good ISO file, or the CPU is not consuming that much. Most of the time the beta version will be having some issues, so there will be a high peak and the low peak. There will be no stable in the graph of CPU. So that's the point I'm trying to explain here. So let's go to the process running right now. So these are all the processes running right now, as you can see. If you want to see everything, you can pause the video and look it up on your own. So let's go to the overview. Let's make it smaller and keep that at the right side so you can see throughout the video. what is going on throughout the video. So here it is. So let's open the Firefox web browser, and I'll show you how to download the Kubuntu 23.10 beta version. Usually it takes a few seconds to launch the web browser. Here it is. Let's type in Kubuntu 23.10 beta. So here it is. So let's check the version of the Firefox web browser first. I think it should be like a 117. So here is the 117, and here is the point update. So let's close this thing. This is the Kubuntu 23.10 Mantic Minotaur. It says as a daily build, but here it is. You can even go with the parent directory, and you can choose the latest images which have passed the automatic testing. If you want to try this, you can try this at first. This is a pending, so let's go to the current, and you can download the ISO file here, which is 3.7 GB in the file size. You need to download the AMD. So here it is. So it says as a Mantic desktop amd.iso file. So that was the download process. If you want to go through all the release notes, all these things, I don't think there is a release notes available right now. So let's try to go to their official website and check that out. This is the official website, which is kubuntu.org. I don't know why it is taking a lot of time. My internet speed is pretty much good. It's almost 10 MB. So we don't have any release notes right now. So some of the basic changes are like in GNOME version, it's a 45 desktop environment, which is Ubuntu, and the KDE Plasma version is like a 5.27.8. You already saw in the beginning. So this is the official website. The ISO file is already available in the daily builds or in the directory of the Ubuntu. So let's close this thing. So let's go with the installation process. I don't think the installer is changed in the Kubuntu version. The Ubuntu version has changed the installer, but we have the same old installer in the Kubuntu 23.10. If you want to go through release notes, you can click on this. So let's check the installation process. I'm not going to install it. I'm just going to show you the process of installation. That's it. So first you need to choose your language. Click on continue. You need to choose your keyboard. Next, continue. Here you have like a normal installation. Usually it will be like a normal installation and the basic installation, or like a minimal installation, two options. But right now it has just a normal installation, and the other options are download updates while installing Kubuntu, and install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and additional media formats. So if you want to check these buttons, you can check it. If you don't want, it's clearly up to you. Click on continue. It says preparing Ubuntu drivers. It should take like a few seconds, and you should be here in the installation type. Choose your hard disk first. If you're choosing in a VMware, it automatically chooses the VMware. If you have multiple hard disks, you need to choose your hard disk properly. So again, it's a beta version, so it's a better option to wait until the stable version. So this is the installation process. If you want to choose the entire disk, if you want to delete the current operating system, and if you want to install it on your main operating system as Kubuntu 23.10, you can choose this option. You can choose the entire disk and set up LVM. You can choose the entire disk and set up the encrypted LVM. You need to provide the password for this. So if you choose the manual partitioning, it gives like a dual booting option. You already know what's dual operating systems like a. You will be having like a dual boot options, or like a, if you have a main operating system, and this will be the secondary operating system for you. So let's go to the choose entire disk. So be careful while choosing this option. It will delete current operating system, and it's going to replace the with the Kubuntu 23.10. So after clicking on install now, it's going to take some like a 5 to 10 minutes, and it's going to be installed. So after that, it will be asking for the time zone, user information. User information is like a, you need to provide your username, password, and that's it. So after that, it's going to install. So that's the installation process. So let's close this thing. So let's launch some of the applications and check the version of the applications. So let's quickly open almost everything. Usually you don't get anything in the Kubuntu which is Ubuntu flavor. You will get the basic apps. You don't get like a boot like a bootware or all these things. You don't get anything like that. You just get the basic email client, web browser, and like a office client. That's it. You don't get anything like additional softwares or additional applications like that. So let's quickly open everything which is available. Kate under the games. We don't want to open the games. Let's open the view. Let's even open the LibreOffice, so we can check the version of the latest LibreOffice. So we already saw the Firefox web browser version, so we don't need to open that again. So you don't get a VLC media player, as I already mentioned. You don't get any additional softwares here. You get a music player, which is Elisa. So let's open the document viewer, which is Ockler. I think that's it. Let's even open the Discover, which is Software Center. Under the utilities, we already opened the Kate. Under the system, nothing left. So this is all the applications we need to open. And let's go to the system monitor and check it out, how much of resources it is consuming. It's almost like a 2.3 GB, and the CPU is going crazy. As you can see, it's almost touching the 50%. Let's go to the applications. So these are all the applications running right now. History, as you can see, there is a high peak in the CPU graph. So there is nothing stable going on here. So there is a low peak, high peak. That's the reason I mentioned in the beginning of the video. So you need to open like a bunch of apps, like a 5 to 6 apps, and you will get the graph. So it's a good option to open like a 5 to 6 apps, and you can decide whether to use this Linux distro or not. So right now it's almost down, as you can see. I think this is because of the opening of the apps, which I opened almost everything at the same time. That's the reason it was high peak, I guess. But you need to wait like a 60 seconds to get a proper graph. So as you can see, CPU is almost down right now. So that's pretty awesome. CPU is almost like below 30-40% like that. So like, let's go to the process. So these are all the process running right now. Let's go to the overview and keep it aside, and you see CPU is almost going up to 100% for some reason. So that's the reason it's always a good option to test it in a live boot first, and then go with the installation. And you don't even complain because we don't even complain because it's a beta version. We should understand this is a beta version or a development ISO file. So you need to wait until the stable ISO file. It's a better option for a normal user. So the LibreOffice version is a 7.6.1.2, which is almost the latest version. So let's close this thing. Ockler 23.08.1. Elisa 23.08.1, which is a point update. Kate, same as the every other application, which is same 23.08.1 version. Let's close this thing. I think we get a Thunderbird 115, I guess. I think it's called as a supernova or something like that. Yes, it is 115.2.0 supernova. So let's close this thing. The Dolphin file manager should be also 23.08, I guess. 23.08.1. These are all the versions of the Kubuntu 23.10. So I think this is everything is up to date. So we downloaded the daily build or the beta version. So I think we will be having everything up to date here. So this is about, this is the settings. Again, these are all the same things which were available in the older version. So I don't think I need to explain everything because it's going to take a lot of time. And we have updates, almost like a 65 updates. The file size is unknown. I don't know how much of file size it should be. I think it should be like around 170 to 200 MB, maybe. That's a rough guess. It should be even more sometimes, or maybe less. We don't know. So let's close this thing and let's check the version of the Gwenview. And the memory and the CPU, as you can see, it's again low because we close almost every application. So let's check out some of the desktop features, which is date and time, calendar, all these things. So here is the status and notification, display configuration, power management, clipboard, night color, vaults, lock keys, status, all these things. Again, these are all the same things which are the volume rockers or the volume options, applications. So let's check the desktop wallpapers. I don't think they added any new wallpapers in the Kubuntu. Usually the wallpapers will be added by the KDE Plasma desktop environment. So here are all the wallpapers available in the Kubuntu 23.10. So this will be in the every KDE Plasma desktop environment based distros. So these are all the same wallpapers which will be available in every KDE Plasma desktop environment. So folder view 3.0. So let's go to the settings and check out some of the other features. Appearance, just same things, nothing changed here. So we don't even have a release note, so that's the reason we can't say anything. So let me first open the terminal and get some of the distro information. I forgot to show that. Usually I will be showing in the beginning of the video, but I forgot to show that. So let's try to type in some of the commands. Let's first check the version of the console. This is the version. So let's type in the command, which is inxi. It says we need to install the inxi first. Let's copy the command and try to install it. We need to type y, which is yes. It should take a few seconds and everything should be installed. So instead of waiting, let's go to, I think it's almost complete, I guess. It's completed. So let's close this application. Let's type in the command, which is inxi. So here is the version of the inxi. I'm using a 40 GB of hard disk for the VMware and process running right now are 287. So here is the complete information, and the kernel version is a 6.5.0-5. So let's type in another command, which is inxi-small b. These are all the commands which will give the information of the distro. Host is a Kubuntu. We are using a Kubuntu Linux distro, so that's the reason it says as a Kubuntu. The desktop environment is a KDE Plasma, and the version is which I already showed in the beginning of the video. So, and it's based on a Ubuntu 23.010 Mantic Minotaur. So it says because it's a Kubuntu is a flavor of Ubuntu. I don't need to mention this, you already know, but for some people I need to mention that thing. So machine it says as a VMware because I'm using it as a live boot and I'm running it on a VMware. So here is some of the CPU information. If you want to go through all these things, you can pause the video and go through all these things. Display is X11 server XORG version 1.21.1.7, XVLAN 23.2.0, and the display resolution is 1920 into 1080 60 Hz. OpenGL version is a 4.3 and Mesa version is a 23.1.7. So process 287, uptime 21 minutes, total 4 GB of RAM, available 3.78, used 2.04. So let's type in another command which is inxi-G. So VMWGFX version is a 2.20. XORG already mentioned, XVLAN here is the version. OpenGL, Mesa already said everything. So let's type in another command which is cat:/etc/issue. So let's type in another command which is inxi-sv8. So these are all the complete information of the distro. I'm just going to scroll it like this. You can pause the video and read everything if you want. So this is the complete information of the distro. So let's type in htop. I think we need to install the htop also. So let's type in the command to install the htop. It takes like 10 seconds maybe, and we should be having a htop here. Let's type in htop now. So here is the htop. So here is the complete information. Let's close it. We have a pop-up. Let's close the window, and within almost like 20 to 30 minutes in this, nothing has crashed, nothing popped up, anything like no bugs. I found any bugs? I didn't find any bugs here. So I think we should use almost like a 1 to 2 hour maybe. We should see any bugs, hopefully. So if we didn't find any bugs, that's pretty good. I think that's stable almost. But you need to wait until the stable ISO file. It's a good option. So this is all the settings. I don't think there is nothing changed here. So let's go to the power management. So you can customize the power management of your own. This is a Bluetooth, driver manager, KDE Connect, printers, so software and sources, the update options, everything. You can customize everything. So let's close this thing. So here is the firewall. It's clearly customizable. You can customize anything you want here. So nothing changed. So we need to close all this thing and end the video. Just some basic themes, application styles, which were already available in the if you using a 5.27 version, so you don't need to see everything because you already know what are all the changes in the 5.27 desktop environment. So let's close this thing and end the video. So at the end of the video, the RAM is almost like a 1.9 GB and CPU is around below 25%. We can say that it's almost touching like a 30% for some reasons. So these are all the applications running right now. So these are all the process history. So this is the CPU graph. As you can see, physical memory is 2 GB. So it's clearly up to you to use it or not. So if you want to wait until the stable ISO file, that's a good option. If you want to test it, you can test it on your own. So remember, this is a beta version. It's going to ruin your PC if any bugs cause. So be careful while choosing. If you are trying it as a live boot, it is no problem. You can try it on a live boot. And when you are using in a live boot, don't try to save anything, because as soon as you shut it down, it's going to erase everything. So remember that thing. So let's shut it down. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. It helps make a good content for you. Other than that, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out. So there is already another video of Ubuntu flavor. If you want to check that out, you can check that out in my channel.